Welcome back to Squawk Box. With the fiscal cliff looming, the question now becomes, can Congress rise above partisan politics and come to an agreement? Joining us now is Senator Kent Conrad. He was a member of the President's Fiscal Commission. How long you got, Senator? I don't want you to cry or any tears or anything, but when's the last day?
January 2nd.
We will miss you because you have reached across all. We've talked about this a lot. And I think part of what happened yesterday with the stock market, we had representatives from both sides on, and people sounded just as set in concrete as before the election. And by that, I mean the Democrats said, well, now we have a mandate to raise taxes. And the other side, the Republicans said the guys in the House will still not go for that, extending the Bush tax cuts just for people below 250. So how do you think this finally works its way out?
Well, I think this is a defining moment. I think we have an opportunity to do something critically important for the country and put together a package that gets us back on track. And I was more hopeful in what I heard. I heard Harry Reid be very clear that he is prepared to make compromises to get this country back on track. I heard John Boehner say that he was open to revenue. Now, however defined, that he was open to revenue. There were other voices more dissident. Certainly, I thought Senator McConnell, unfortunately, didn't sound the same positive note that the others did. But look, the president made very clear that he is prepared to sit down across the aisle. In fact, started calling Republican colleagues. You know, I've been part of, for a year and a half, a group of 6. It's now a group of 8. We have been working steadily. There are other groups working. I believe our colleagues, if they're prepared to act, will have options to consider when they return.
I'm just wondering, Senator, do you think it's possible that we don't get to, will the Democrats agree not to get to 39.2? Is there something else they would accept? Some other way of revenue raising where that top marginal rate doesn't go back to, that seems to be something that, you know, ever since the president compromised that first time, it's like it's been set in stone that he could never compromise again, or the base will just say that he broke his promise.
You know, there is more than one way to bell the cat. So why are people so fixed on 39.6? It's because of progressivity within the code. You can accomplish that same progressivity with lower rates if you broaden the base in a way that's progressive. And it is entirely possible to do. So look, I think all of us know the basic contours here. You're going to have to cut some additional spending. You're going to have to reform Medicare and other health care accounts. You're going to have some additional revenue. You can have additional revenue in a progressive way without raising rates.
You just described Simpson-Bowles, Senator. Just in a nutshell, you just described it again. But we had 3 guys on yesterday from your side of the aisle. None of them really endorse Simpson-Bowles because they want to get up to they'll talk after we get back to 39.6. It's almost, we're calling it now the bungee jump.
But it's not just Democrats. It's Republicans, too, who all say they like Simpson-Bowles, but it always starts with a but, and they talk about what they want to change.
They don't think with it.
The but is no Medicare. I mean, look, that's the but on Simpson-Bowles.
Yeah, look, I spent a year of my life on Simpson-Bowles. I hate things on almost every page, but I voted for it. I told my staff the only thing worse than being for this is being against it. And so remember, what you're seeing at this point is a lot of positioning, and that's understandable. I don't fault anybody for it. But at the end of the day, I think we basically know the contours of what it's going to take to get an agreement, and it's critical for the country that we do.
But you know, you can only speak to your side. I don't know about the Republican side, but do you think that Democrats, genetically incapable of accepting that 28% rate, Senator, that in their mind that's rates going down, and they can't possibly get their head around that?
Look, I don't think 28% works. I don't think the numbers work.
That was in Simpson-Bowles, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But
you
remember,
didn't like that.
No, but remember, that had an assumption that you're going to tax capital gains and dividends at ordinary rates. Do you think that's going to happen?
Senator, it all has to happen.
28% is not bad. We could live with 28%, just not 50% or 40.
Yeah.
Where they're going to like 43%. I think.
Senator, let me just say, I don't think you're going to wind up with a code that has no differential between capital gains and dividends.
Okay.
And
so
if
then we
you
have
don't,
to go up
then
on the 28.
Yeah, you got to go up on the 28.
Right.
But we ought to do it the way we did in Simpson Bowles, which was to say, you buy it up.
Right.
If you want something, you got to pay for it. And that's also true. Let's remember the spending side of this equation. It's critically important that we look at the part of spending that's really going up as a share of GDP.
Senator,
that's not the discretionary accounts. That's the entitlement accounts.
Right.
Senator, when we talk about tax rates, there's a phony conversation happening here, which is why don't the Democrats talk about average effective tax rates? Because what you could ultimately do is move that average effective tax rate up, tell the constituency, look, tax rates are going up, average effective tax rates go up, without actually moving the quote-unquote rate card, if you will.
Marginal. Yeah.
You know, let me just go back to Bowles-Simpson, because I do think it provides a way forward here, and that is, although we lowered top rates, we actually improved the progressivity of the system. We improved the progressivity of the system. I'd urge my colleagues on the Democratic side, reserve judgment here until you see the distributional tables that show you who pays what, because you can solve this problem. You don't have to do it just the same old way.
Yeah. God, I'm looking at this map. I can't believe you got elected. Where's your counties up there on this map I'm looking at? There's like two little blue specks on your state up there. Did you spend all your time there? How did this work? How'd you do that again and again and again? It looks mathematically impossible to me. That's why you're not running again.
The last time I was elected, I got 69% of the vote. So
and you deserve
there was a lot of blue.
And listen to how
I was reasonable.
Listen to how reasonable you are today. I know you're more reasonable than the three guys we had out.
Sweater. What do you expect?
He's wearing a sweater, and it looks great. Senator, thank you and good luck. Hopefully, we'll see you again before that day in January.